My name is Bill. Welcome to the Night Terrors Weekend Show. And we're starting right now. I've been rewards enabled on channel. Yes, looks good. That looks like Discord. Okay. I don't know what that's from. I've been trying to get a chat aggregator so I can combine all the chat from Twitch, YouTube, and more in the future. Rumble, hopefully in the future. Maybe Kick. Eldergrown, thank you for the contribution. Much appreciated, sir. Thank you, Elder. Welcome, Michael. The Synchro 505 is here. Oh, no, it's Taco says hello. So this is the chat aggregator I found, except, and it appears to be working, except it's Shazbot. It's not picking up YouTube. It doesn't allow me to reply to anybody, though. Connections on YouTube. Should be now. Should be okay now. Go off and on. Connecting. Yeah, for some reason it won't connect to YouTube either. I guess I got to punch in something specific. So my chat aggregator is not picking up YouTube. Verpine, thank you so much, sir. A generous man. Gifting tier 1 subs. Shazbot to RXIJY. Thank you, Verpine, so much, sir. So this, I'm trying to get a chat aggregator to put everyone's chat all in one place. But this one, it's not meeting my standards. Axel Chat, it's called. Not receiving YouTube and not allowing me to respond to any chats. I guess you have to specify two-way when you're looking for one. Don't forget, folks, the old shows are now being played in order over on Rumble, Monday through Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. That's all the old shows in order over on Rumble. So why don't you go over there and take a look. Coming up this Wednesday, thank you for peeing for the contribution, sir. Much appreciated, sir. Catch all the chats, says Elder. Synchro asking, how am I? I'm doing pretty good. I want to get a nice new layout for the show tonight. I'm working on a new layout for the screen. The same topics, but more modular type thing. I found one thing I thought I was going to do at Microsoft Power Toys. Turns out it doesn't do it that well, so now I'll be looking for something else on that end. Verpine has been enjoying the shows on Rumble. Thank you, Verpine. Coming up this Wednesday, the movies are going to be Fury and The Execution. Fury, an absolute classic movie that you've never seen before. Really hard-hitting, serious movie from the olden times. A really good flick, though. You got to see it to believe it. And it's an excellent first feature. Second feature being The Execution, a made-for-TV movie with Loretta Swit and a few other popular TV stars about some female concentration camp victims who get together to try to eliminate the doctor that tortured them back during the war. A good second movie as well. Coming up this Wednesday, guest hosted by Gotcha Man. And I will be there in spirit and in chat. But actually, those are contradictory, aren't they? I will be there in chat. Don't forget, guys, this is our new schedule. We're only on 2 days a week now. This Saturday show, which is once a week, Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And, of course, the Wednesday movie on Twitch only. The Saturday show, tonight's show, being multicast on YouTube and Twitch. But Wednesday's movie night, Twitch only. Don't miss it this coming Wednesday. Verpine loves Spencer Tracy. He's never seen this one. You're going to love it, Verpine. You're going to love this one. Green Tea asks, are we looking for topics? Yes. I've chosen one with which we're going to start out. Gotcha Man says, you are my force ghost like Ben Kenobi. Thank you, Gotcha Man. Much appreciated. We're going to start out with one that I picked, but yes, it is viewer request night. This is just to provide the first topic, the Reptilian Among Us. This is at carvercentercatalyst.com. Written by Taiwo Adibawali, a journalist who begins, "You will either scoff at the truth or reach a higher level of consciousness." Gotcha Man with a suggestion. Thank you, Gotcha Man. That looks pretty good. Why am I coming up here? I'll just copy the copy this, and we'll duplicate this, and we'll punch in your URL. Thank you, Gotcha Man. That's coming up. Verpine with a topic. Ooh, looks good, Verpine. Thank you, sir. The cursed ship, Alkimos. And then a topic from Green Tea. Where is Atvatabar? Thank you, Green Tea. And then from Oh No, It's Taco, the crew of the Liebling. Where are they? Good question. Thank you, Taco. Midwest Fishman asking, so are the Royals reptilians? So they would have us believe. So the Brits would have us believe. And over on YouTube, Green Tea as well. Thank you, Green Tea. Just want to sign into YouTube and say hi to everyone before heading to Twitch. And Green Tea has the right idea. Dinkamasi says hello to everyone, or good day. Rhinoceros Rex is here along with T. Ceratops. Kevin Starr says hello, as well as Trader Monkey. Kenga Kong only finds that her chat is working on YouTube. That's a shame, because the only place I am making money is on Twitch, and you guys should come over to Twitch, if you at all can. Dick Richards says hello to everyone. And Big L1 is here. Welcome, Big L1, to YouTube. Repeat says, that's what David Icke says. Yes, David Icke, the famous anti-Semite. I think he may be coming up. You either scoff at the truth or reach a higher level of consciousness, writes the author, through the wisdom I will present you in this article. Attuned to the cosmos at a transcendental level, not all can comprehend intellectual acuity beyond science, or news, quote-unquote, and other low vibrational concepts. If you're here to laugh at my madman theory, go ahead. But for those who truly want to experience enlightenment, your mind shall remain pure, untouched by the reptilian that plagues many. You will learn the elite truth. You will become aware of the shapeshifters among us. For millennia, the reptilian race has attempted to conquer the world. These blood-drinking, flesh-eating, shape-shifting extraterrestrials linger among us in secrecy. They infiltrate the Grammys, the Oscars, the White House, and even our schools in complete anonymity. Through advanced technology, they deceptively present themselves as human beings. Reptilians posing as humans can change the color of their eyes. Typically, they have green, blue, or hazel-colored eyes, according to a former footballer and famous anti-Semite, David Icke. Their eyesight and hearing is keen and precise, superior to the average human being, due to technology or genetics superior to ours. Due to their extraterrestrial origin, many of them have an affinity with space. Many people within our lives exhibit these traits. In fact, if you close your eyes and take the time to think, a few may pop into your mind. Maybe Justin Bieber, maybe Mark Zuckerberg, maybe someone more personal. A teacher may be residing within our very school. Ms. Melnick, the author suggests. Ms. Melnick, Ms. Mlinek, literary arts teacher of Carver Center, is one of the many reptilians lurking around the premises of the school, according to the author. At first, I lacked any suspicions towards her, writes the author. My interactions with her were often ordinary and human. Too human looking back. I took time to ponder her name as it popped up in my mind. That name, Mrs. Mlinek. It was off the tongue like a glass marble within my mouth. This looks like one big doxing. This is an alleged reptilian, folks. Allegedly. Although a human-sounding name and based on human dialect, it sounds too human. Mlinek, M-L-I-N-E-K. How do you even pronounce it? Mlinek. To an extent, it uncannily resembles the word milk, orally and visually. Unless you're a reptilian new to the human concept, you should know what milk is. If you do not, you know who you are. I'll find you within a matter of time, and you'll meet the same inevitable fate as Ms. Mlinek. Oh my God, this guy's nuts. Let's not continue the doxing, shall we? Pure footage of the aforementioned supposed reptilian. Not photoshopped, claims the author. Photo by the author. Well, let's see if this is photoshopped or not, shall we? Open image in new tab. It's a little fuzzy. What's going on here? So we have a woman who is perhaps religious, covering all of her face except her eyes, because you can see over here, besides the hair. That's really weird. Not like a normal religious hood, is it? Whatever you call it. That's the highest resolution I can get, highest magnification I can get. So there's, it looks like someone with some kind of religious wrapping around her head. But isn't the hair is not outside of it usually, right? That's kind of weird. Okay. Maybe not Photoshop because everything's blurred to the same extent. But maybe posed. That is so odd. Dinkamasi, thank you for coming over to Twitch. Dinkum says it's a leopard gecko with some hair on its head. That is so odd. A ring on the right hand, which normally means an engagement ring, right? Normally, if this isn't reversed, it's reversed, she's married. Elder asks, is that an insurance salesperson? Taco says, looks like a normal Illuminati to me. Verpine says they didn't use Photoshop, but some other brand of photo manipulation program. Green Tea says, my friend in the UK just saw Ike last week. She said it was awesome. A laid-back chat they really enjoyed. I think his son was there too. Yeah, but he is an anti-Semite. This is one big dox. It ends with Mlinek. It begins with Mlinek. In the middle is all Mlinek. So my apologies to Ms. Mlinek. View comments. Thenasis says, facts. Thomas says, it all makes sense now. Is this a real person? Let's look for the name. Mlinek. Mlinek family history. Kale Mlinek, men swimming and diving. Lenyon Mlinek. And there's a bunch of female Mlineks here. So an honored family name, evidently. And then, well, not that common, though, because you immediately go to Lenek without the M. The Mlinek family history, huh? At Ancestry.com. Mlinek surname meaning. Where's the meaning? Similar surnames with a Y. Klink. Minor. Flink. Link. Mink. Fleechek. Where's the Mlinek family from? Huh. In these three, no, in all these states, I guess all the pink states have Mlineks, I guess. But none in Pennsylvania. The Mlinek family name was found in the USA beginning in 1920. That time there was one family living in Colorado. This was about 33% of all the recorded Mlineks in the USA. What did they do for a living? Top mail applications. They were miners, it says here. Mlinek men worked as miners. What family records will you find? I don't see any Mlineks there. I don't see surnames there. Something father, mother. Is that the surname here? No Mlineks, though, apparently. This is just a sales pitch. Welcome, Andrew and Gnome's Trucking Express. Frogfan is here. Stopping by. Welcome, Frogfan. Let's go up to our first suggestion, shall we? That being... from Verpine, who wishes to know about the cursed ship Alkimos. The AI says the SS Alkimos was a Greek-owned merchant ship built in 1943 during the war as a Liberty ship. What's a Liberty ship? What is a Liberty ship? AI says a mass-produced cargo vessel. The production of these ships was unprecedented in naval history. A standardized, mass-produced cargo vessel. American shipyards constructed just under 3,000 of them, with an average of 3 ships every 2 days. I guess to keep commerce going, right? Because supply lines were interrupted by the war. Its history is marked by a series of unexplained events and supernatural occurrences, earning it the reputation of a cursed ship. It was built in Baltimore, Maryland, USA, and initially served as the Viggo Hanstein. It was called the Viggo Hanstein under Norwegian ownership. It transported ammunition and other war materials across the Mediterranean and India by way of the Suez Canal. After the war, the ship changed hands several times, being sold to a Greek shipping company and renamed the Alkimos, which means strong in Greek. In 1944, Canadian radio operator Maud Steen served on the Alkimos. According to legend, she was shot and unalived by a fellow crew member, who then unalived himself. The military reported her death as being caused by enemy fire, and she was buried in Italy. Many believe her ghost haunts the ship. Crew members reported various paranormal occurrences, including unexplained lights flickering, engine malfunctions without cause, cold spots despite warm weather, and eerie static occurring on the radio. In '63, the Alkimos ran aground off the coast of Western Australia. Salvage workers attempted to recover it, but were driven off by fires. The fires were unexplained. The ship remained abandoned, and divers have been reported missing or experiencing strange occurrences while exploring the wreck. Today, the Alkimos wreck is a popular diving spot, and the surrounding area is said to be haunted. Locals claim that horses ridden on the nearby beach become nervous and refuse to pass the ship. Boy, they got some great beaches in Australia with horses riding up and down them, huh? That's pretty cool. Despite the ship's disintegration over time, the legend of its curse persists. Frogfan's, lots of them are managed by merchant mariners. Frogfan's daughter is a nuclear engineer of the Merchant Marine. Wow. I didn't realize they had nuclear power in the Merchant Marine. Merchant Marine is like a civilian. That's like a civilian thing. What is the Merchant Marine? What is the Merchant Marine? A civilian organization composed of U.S. civilian mariners and a U.S. civilian and federally owned merchant vessels. They're managed by the government and private sectors, and they engage in commerce, transporting goods and sometimes passengers, domestically and internationally. Dates back to the Revolutionary War. During World War II, they played a crucial role in running supplies to the Allies. And many merchant mariners were granted the status of veterans. I didn't realize they had government ties. Roles and careers: pilots, captains, seamen, mates, engineers, stewards, cooks. So that would be the nuclear engineer side. Or Frogfan's daughter. Frogfan says yes, a civilian managed by the Department of Transportation, so not managed by any military branch. That's quite interesting. To become licensed as a Merchant Marine, you attend a State Maritime Academy or the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point, New York. They also help U.S. military veterans transition to careers in the Merchant Marine. A civilian organization responsible for transporting goods and passengers, managed by the DOT and the private sector. So I want to see that wreck. If that's so popular, maybe they're like, maybe we can see that wreck, the Alkimos wreck. It says it's a popular diving spot. You'd think there'd be pictures. Should we go right to pictures or just go like this first? The Alkimos wreck. It's 45 kilometers north of Rottnest Island, so not too near land. But about 25 miles, a little over 25 miles. 26 plus miles. It was wrecked on the coast north of Perth. Howie Scuba, the Alkimos wreck. There we go. The Alkimos wreck. Holy cow, it pokes out up out of the water. Now that's kind of odd. The Alkimos has a wonderful reputation as being haunted. If you search the Alkimos in any search engine, it will provide you numerous links to websites dealing a catalog of unfortunate happenings with this ship. It says here it is close to shore, about 500 meters. It's only half a click. Less than half a mile. And with a 4x4 and a little rooftop or a kayak, you could easily make it out to this wreck by yourself. However, we jumped on board with WBDC for our first dive at this famous lady. Oh boy, is that encrusted. Well, since the 63, right? So we're talking not 40 years, not 50 years, but yeah, 50 years. No. Yeah, 50 years. No, 60 years. 61 years. So a lot of images, just about the same. A lot less clean than that underground Stonehenge we saw under Lake Michigan last week. It's like only the top is the part that's hasn't been overrun by coral and algae. At Howie's Scuba. Diving the haunted Alkimos shipwreck on Halloween, Perth girl. And here at very low tide, there's a haunted shipwreck in Perth. And I dived on Halloween. This written by Tani at perthgirl.com.au. Doesn't give any caption for that, though, so who knows what year that was. I guess the tides make a lot of difference. The ship was built for Baltimore. For 18 months, she provided war service primarily in the Mediterranean, crewed by mariners of various nationalities, transporting cargo and serving as a troop ship in convoys that were often attacked by German aircraft and U-boats. During this time, rumors of construction workers having been welded between the ship's plating during construction circulated, with crews starting to report paranormal activity on board. All the while, the ship mysteriously dodged U-boat torpedoes, while sibling ships took hits and sunk. In August 1944, a mysterious self-unaliving took place on board the World War II merchant ship when it was stationed in Naples, Italy. Canadian radio operator Ms. Maud Steen was shot by a Norwegian gunnery officer who then unalived himself. Because the incident was so horrific, the incident was hushed up from public knowledge, with the military saying Steen had been unalived by enemy fire. She was classed as the first woman from Toronto to die in service. After the war, the ship was unarmed and eventually sold to Greek Shipping Company and renamed to Alkimos. For the next 18 years, up to 1963, she sailed the world's oceans with various crew members coming and going, many recounting real ghost sightings and frightening experiences on board. In 1963, the vessel was on a voyage from Jakarta to Bunbury when it struck a reef off the western Australian coast. It was salvaged and towed to Fremantle, the port city for Perth, where it underwent repairs for 2 months. Green Tea with a shout-out to everyone to go check out Bill's Rumble channel. If you like Classic Bill at the beginning of Night Terrors, you love the classics on Rumble, several I've never seen. Yeah, those are playing in order. So you'll still catch the early ones if you start now. Where's my Rumble button? There it is. Over on Rumble. Only a few hours out of the Fremantle port, where repairs were had, the tow line mysteriously gave way, while the Alkimos was driven back onto the shore. Although the ship remained intact, it could not be floated off at that time, and so was filled with water to secure it in place, and left in charge of an onboard caretaker In January of '64, another tug returned to refloat the ship for a planned journey to Manila, but during the route, authorities seized the tug, leaving the Alkimos anchored and abandoned at sea. 4 months later, Alkimos broke anchor, and without any form of power or human control, drove herself onto Eglinton Rocks near present-day Yanchep. During this time, she was more severely damaged, and all thought of salvaging it intact was abandoned. It was later sold for scrap, but in 1969, salvage workers were driven off the wreck by a mysterious fire. Dinkamasi wonders if albatross tastes like chicken. I wouldn't be surprised. One of the salvage workers also reported hearing ghostly noises. After this time, the partly dismantled remains of the ship sat in several meters of water, visible to visitors but gradually disintegrating. Over the next 40 years, the Alkimos existed as a landmark for the area, rusting away from the relentless pounding of the Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean. Is the Indian Ocean something that pounds against Australia's shores? I guess. So geography ignorant. Where's our other search here? Yeah. Is Australia on the Indian Ocean? Answer with AI. Yes, Australia has a coastline along the Indian Ocean. Okay. I'm so ignorant. I just thought it was just like out in the middle of the Pacific or the Atlantic or one of those oceans. Coastline with both Indian and Pacific Ocean, so it's the Pacific Ocean, obviously, Pacific Ocean. Making it a significant player in the Indo-Pacific region. With bizarre events and allegations plaguing the vessel's history, it is no wonder it has been given a jinxed and haunted reputation. Some of the more widely known stories of the bad luck wreck include allegations during hasty construction, welders sealed between hulls, and their ghosts haunting the vessel ever since. Apparitions of a small dog in the engine room. A woman working on board as a caretaker suffered a serious fall, resulting in the birth of a premature and stillborn baby. Phenomena reported by salvage workers occupying the wreck, hearing footsteps on ladders, cooking smells, and noises coming from the kitchen galley, and tools reported to be moved by unseen hands. An apparition of a human figure in rubber boots and oilskins, nicknamed Henry, sighted on the wreck by various people, including local cray fishermen. Good evening, Big Tess, my friend. Taco says, the Indian Ocean is beautiful. If you come here, I'll take you to Port Beach for some fabulous Fremantle coffee and a swim with the polar bear swimmers. I might take you up on that, Taco. Thank you so much for the generous offer. The human skull of Herbert Voy, a prominent long-distance swimmer, being found near the wreck after he vanished in '69 on an attempted swim between Cottesloe Beach and Rottnest Island. The ship being bought and sold at least 8 times while stranded, along with suggestions that purchases suffered bad luck, bankruptcy, and life-threatening illness. A U.S. Navy submariner by the name of Ted Snyder, unalived in a plane crash after assessing the wreck. Jack Wong-Soo, author of Ghost of Alkimos, hospitalized under respiratory diseases after researching the ship. Numerous stories of near drownings. Thank you, Dinkamasi. Numerous stories of engine failures and accidents near the wreck reported. Horse riding enthusiasts claim their horses refuse to gallop past the wreck. Dogs become erratic and distressed in this area. Big Test says my mother-in-law was a reptilian. By the way, guys, we need one more suggestion. If you've made one and I haven't seen it, please come up with a suggestion with many highlights so it draws my eye. Excuse me. Next up, a suggestion from Green Tea. Where is Atvatabar? Let's find out. Search instead. There it is, Atvatabar. From AI, based on search results, Atvatabar is a massive underground land that runs beneath North America, from Canada to Ecuador. It is accessible through an entrance at the North Pole and is connected to other subterranean regions, including Ataturpis country and the Inca Tunnel. Murania is also mentioned as an outpost to Atvatabar. It's a remarkable subterranean civilization, described as having thrived for millennia, preserving ancient wisdom and advanced knowledge. The land of Tanhe, the heart of Atvatabar, is said to be ethereal and beautiful, with inhabitants known as Tanyans, who are profoundly spiritual and enlightened. They possess advanced knowledge of meditation, the mystical arts, and harness the power of crystals to create devices that bring harmony and healing to their world. In summary, Atvatabar is a land beneath North America, accessible through the North Pole. Let's get some good stories about Atvatabar here. Reviewing the Goddess of Atvatabar, a study of the Hollow Earth, at WordPress, at the simzonian.wordpress.com. Reviewing the Goddess of Atvatabar. Thanks to the wonders of the online newspaper catalog chronicling America, it has been possible to dig up some 19th century reviews. Ooh, a new source. Chronicling America. Let's grab that. Oh, it's at the Library of Congress. Open link in new tab. It has a bunch of old newspapers. We should have looked here for our newspapers the other day. 100 years ago. Well, I got to save this under research. Oh, it says edit this bookmark. Yeah, where is it now? It's in research now. Okay. Never mind then. Just get out of there. There we go. Oh, Gotchaman's link. I forgot about Gotchaman's link. Let's do a quick sidebar here. This from Gotchaman. A VHS copy of Hellraiser is mysteriously haunting a London bus stop. This at time.com. There's the bus stop right there. Isn't that something? And the author's Melissa Locker. Melissa begins. Is South London about to be invaded by the Cenobites? Maybe. But the neighborhood is definitely being haunted by a VHS copy of Hellraiser, the 1987 classic Clive Barker horror film. Back in 2011, an eagle-eyed commuter noticed that there was a puzzling box, that's a Hellraiser reference, perched atop a bus stop. When he investigated, it turned out to be a VHS copy of the horror film, complete with Pinhead's terrifying face staring out from it. 3 years on, it's still there. So it's on top of the bus stop. Last year, Tom Wateracre started documenting what he assumed was an amusing oddity worth tweeting about. It became less funny and more creepy when a second copy showed up. Then it was joined by a second copy of Hellraiser, 2 VHS copies of Hellraiser. Tom Wateracre. It didn't stop until April either. In August, another VHS copy of the film showed up. When one copy disappears, another shows up in its place. In October, the phenomenon spread across town, with Neil Hobbs replying to Wateracre, "Can't be 100% certain, but that looks like a VHS of Hellraiser on a bus stop in Newington Green. Was it a copycat? Or the first hints that Frank Cotton is returning? The world may never know. What we do know is that the VHS copy of Hellraiser is still there. See for yourself on Google Street View. Believe me, we will. Sitting on the bus stop on Old Kent Road, just waiting for some curious person to open it, which, if horror movies are to be believed, would probably be a very bad idea. You can read the entire Hellraiser Storify here. The Storify, huh? By way of Dazed. So let's open that up in a new tab first. Dazed. And there's Pinhead. Agree to cookies? Why are Hellraiser VH cassettes haunting London bus stops? There's a picture of one of them. That's on a South London bus stop. A copycat has placed a Hellraiser VHS on the roof of a Newington Green bus stop to match the Hellraiser VS in South London. That one's the South London one. That's the original one. Same bricks, right? Let me show up the top of this. Let's take a closer look at this. Open image, a new tab. It looks like the same bricks to me. There's some short ones and some long ones. That's pretty cool because that must be a real old wall. And this one, no, this one is regular. This does not have short and long ones. This has all long ones. So it can't be the same place, right? No, that's a much older looking wall too. You can see the age in it. You can see the short bricks and the long bricks. It's irregular. It's not like this. So this must be yet another South London bus stop. That makes 3. Read the full story file below. Sorry, we're having trouble finding that site. Guess we'll never read it. Who knows if that's an age or what? Trending, those are just ads. Oh yeah. Why did Satan start to possess girls on screen in the 70s? Pinhead, compared to that, Pinhead is so much more friendly. And he wants to be your friend. So let's see that on Google Street View. Where's that link? There it is. Open link in new tab, please. Now that is the good brick, not the bad brick. But we're supposed to be able to see a VHS on the top of there? No, well, is there any way to... Oh, yeah, we can. No, there's no VHS visible there. It is curved on the top, as you can see. What's the square for? Return to a sender. There is stuff over there, but you can't see VHS on top. Where's the history? Isn't there supposed to be a Google history of this stuff? Let's go back to the other one. Can we go back one? There it is. There's supposed to be a history function we can see in the past, right? See more dates. There we go. This is from July of this year. This is from December of 22. When there's a big bus in front of it. This from July of 22. I'm not seeing any VHS. When was the story written? The story was written 10 years ago, June 19th, 2014. Does Google go back that far? Where's the street view? There it is. More. 2018, 2000. Okay, we have a 2015 with a bus in front of it. 2016. Ah, I see something square. Could be right there. Let's go earlier. November 2015 as a bus, but we have a July 2015. Going even earlier. No. Thank you. Zoom is here. Oh, now you get a couple of them. 1, 2, looks like 3 of them up there. 4 of them. Looks like there's 4 VHS tapes up there. Looks like they're all in cases, like transparent cases. There's 4 of them on there. That's in July of 2015. 1 year after the article. October 2014. Look at them all up there. 1, 2, 3, 4. These some of these have labels though. Okay, how about September 2012? 2 years before that. 2 years before the article. I wouldn't be surprised if that was it. Right there. That's 2012. The next earliest one they have is 2009. Bus. 2008. Bus. Nothing apparently on top. At least it's a... And that's the earliest one they have. So 2012, yeah. Looks like there's one on top of there. So for 2 years, this lasted. Apparently. 2014. At least one. That is obviously a transparent case with a VHS inside. That's obvious. All right. Back to Atvatabar. Thank you, Gotcha Man, for that. And we do need, we still need like 1 or 2 more suggestions. So put your thinking caps on, people. Bill above is a suggestion. Thank you, Kanga. Is it your suggestion? I'm not seeing it, Kanga. I see where you say my chat's working on YouTube. Is it your suggestion, Kanga? Unless it's highlighted in some way, I'm never going to be able to pick it out from chat. I'm so sorry, Kanga. Could you repeat it for me? Could you copy paste it and put some kind of highlighted thing, my highlighted name or something there? Something with a highlight. It's on YouTube. That's where I was. I was on YouTube, but there's nothing highlighted that I can see on YouTube, people. Green tea likes pho. Never tried pho. I would like to. My wife can't have it, though. She's on a Atkins diet. Have you had Ethiopian? We have a couple of restaurants in town, and it's very good, says Verpine. I have had Middle Eastern food before. Cooked by some Middle Eastern students. But it takes a long time to develop prowess as a cook. You can't expect a college kid to be able to cook well, even if their mothers are experts. Taco loves Ethiopian food. Marvelous, she says. We have to do Atkins from now on, though. Atvatabar. And there was one here. There was one here, maybe. Chronicling America. Where is that? Yeah. Thanks to the wonders of the online newspaper catalog. It's been possible to dig up some 19th century reviews of some of the Hollow Earth works I've been studying. Today's features 3 reviews of William R. Bradshaw's The Goddess of Atvatabar, which compelled these reviewers to relate the novel to the European imports. Show us the article. The St. Paul Daily Globe. These are reviews of a fictional novel, though. Welcome, April Coleman. Welcome, .exe. Welcome to Kanga Kong. Still need suggestions, people. Let's move on. To Taco. And Taco wants to know. The crew of the Liebling, where are they? Let's answer with AI first. Thank you, Taco. And thank you, Green Tea, for the previous suggestion. Looks like that guy's, that work is based, the original work is fiction, looks like. Thank you, Verpine. Got it, sir. Thank you so much. It appears that the crew of the Liebling refers to the crew of a shrimp boat called the Liebling, which went missing in 1986, writes the AI. According to the information, the crew consisted of 5 Caucasian males: Larry Red Dixon, Russell Rusty Dixon, Jason Dixon, Caleb Dixon, and the only non-family member, apparently, Michael Georgian. They were on a trip from Crescent City, California, but their whereabouts after the boat's disappearance are unknown. Let's find out about this event. Let's say, where is the crew of the Liebling? Where is? Unsolved Mysteries. Yeah, let's do that. Let's open up in a new tab, actually. Occupation, shrimpers, students. Shrimpers and students. Three of the Dixons were students, evidently. Two of them were married. details in the small fishing community of Crescent City, Northern California. The summer was ending. 40-year-old shrimp boat captain Red Dixon's 3 sons, 18, 14, and 6-year-old, Rusty, Jason, and Caleb, would soon be back in school. It was only time for them to go on one last fishing trip with their pop. When Red arrived at his former wife Pamela's house in 1986, his boys looked forward to 4 days at sea. At first, she was reluctant to let Caleb go on the trip, the 6-year-old. But eventually she relented and allowed him to go. She helped him pack his bag. She reminded him to be careful. Red and the boys said their goodbyes and left. They were excited to go with their father on the trip. However, the car drove around the corner. Pamela had a fearful feeling overcome her. She assumed it was because it was the first time she was letting Caleb go on a trip without her. She should have gone on the trip too. Maybe not. This is so good. This is berry pomegranate. I think it's a generic Walmart flavor of a Crystal Light. That's good tasting. It gets old quick, though. There are very few forever flavors with Crystal Light. Flavors you can drink and drink and drink and you don't get tired of them. You get used to some of them, most of them. And then they turn, bleh, on your palate. Red and the boys said their goodbyes and left. Red was captain of an 80-foot, 21-year-old shrimp boat named the Liebling, the Darling in German. Besides him, it was crewed by 25-year-old first mate Mike Georgian, an experienced shrimper from Brookings, Oregon. On this trip, Red's boys were accompanied by their Springer Spaniel, even the dog disappeared. Everyone on board looked forward to an enjoyable time at sea. The boat left the harbor in Crescent City at dawn and headed north to fish off Cape Blanco, Oregon. It was accompanied by 2 other boats. The sea was unusually calm, and the elements seemed to be cooperating to ensure an uneventful voyage. But the elements can be deceptive. By the way, before we continue, guys, don't forget, coming up this Wednesday, is movie night only on Twitch. And that's going to be Fury and the Execution. The Fury is a real good story. I forget the name of the director, but it's a famous German director. And some really violent stuff. You would like it. Violent stuff for its year. And a very interesting story. And then the Execution about some former concentration camp captives, all female, who get together to eliminate the doctor who tortured them during the World War II. 2 good features. Sometime during the night of August the 27th into August 28th, 1986, the Liebling disappeared. The sea was unusually calm, and the elements seemed to be cooperating to ensure an uneventful voyage. They were last seen by the shrimp boat Cape Sebastian at about 1 a.m., 15 miles south of Cape Blanco and 3 miles offshore. Although they had no radio equipment aboard. What the hell? No radio equipment. It says here, although they had no radio equipment on board, no distress signals were broadcast. Although they had no equipment, no distress signals were broadcast? They could have fired a flare, maybe. No flares on board either. It was simply there one moment and gone the next. In the years since its disappearance, no evidence has surfaced to explain its fate. The family and friends of those on board have no idea what happened to their loved ones. Somehow not knowing is the worst part of all, writes the author. On the following morning, when the Liebling did not answer radio calls. Well, if they have no radio, how can they answer a radio call? We got to look for somewhere else for details on this, I'm sure. A visual search was conducted. Strangely, it was nowhere to be found. By 10 a.m., the Coast Guard had been brought in. They found no evidence the boat had sunk. According to fisherman Chuck Tweed, when a boat like the Liebling sinks, if it has 5,000 to 17,000 gallons, 5 to 17,000 gallons of diesel fuel on it, its slick can be seen for miles on the water. However, no slick or oil leakage or debris were found. An initial search was called off a few days later due to strong winds. However, family members asked their congressman to intervene. As a result, the Coast Guard launched an expanded search, using cutters, small boats, helicopters, and a long-range C-130 aircraft. The searches occurred on shore, in the air, and from the sea for over a week, but no evidence was found to show what happened to the Liebling. Tweed speculated that Red may have gone back to Colombia and taken his sons with him. For the last year and a half, Red had been living and fishing there. He had recently remarried and was planning to start a second family. Could Red have taken the beat and the boat and his 3 sons to South America? Pamela does not believe this theory, because Red was welcome to visit his sons and take them with him whenever he wanted. While it is conceivable that Red might have abducted his sons, it is unlikely that Mike would have left his family behind. According to wife Kim, he was very devoted to her and their 3 children. Yeah, he's not going to leave his wife behind. She believes they would have to unalive him, because he would not have gone along with them to Colombia. Red's brother Lauren also does not believe that he fled to Colombia. The two were together the night before the Liebling left. They stayed up until 2 a.m. talking about life in general. Lauren believes that if Red was planning to leave the country, he would have said something to him like, "If you don't hear from me for a while, don't worry about it." He wishes that Red was alive and in Colombia. However, he believes there are too many other things that prove otherwise. Such as what? Thank you, Green Tea, for the emergency topic. And that is a good one. Thank you, Green Tea. Howdy to World Bigfoot Central. Hey, World Bigfoot. You know what's really popular on Rumble? Bigfoot videos. On YouTube, it's like, but on Rumble, it's my best performing video so far. And you can see it too on Rumble. Monday through Friday, I'm doing the old shows in order. Monday through Friday. World Bigfoot Central says no oil slick. Clearly, Cthulhu ate the boat. If the Liebling had collided with a barge... Oh, I got ahead of myself here. The night before the Liebling vanished, DJ Cole, a fisherman sailing with the boat about 5 miles behind, talked to Mike on the radio. So there is a radio. So the author made a grammatical error earlier. Although the boat had a radio, there was no distress call. Not although the boat didn't have a radio. Although the boat didn't have a radio. So he misspoke there. Mike told him to beware of a tugboat and barge in the area. According to Tweed, if the Liebling had been hit by the barge, the tugboat would probably not even know that it got hit. The Liebling would go under within seconds. The weight ratio would be so different, It would be like hitting a log with a large boat or bowling over a matchbook. If the Liebling had collided with the barge, why was no debris found on the ocean's surface? One afternoon, a fisherman named Troy Vaught might have run into the only major clue leading to the Liebling's fate. One day in September 1987, his net snagged on an obstruction 700 feet below the surface. An experienced fisherman, Vaught is certain that the object had not been there prior to the Liebling's disappearance. So 87 was when did they disappear? 86, so the following year. I wonder if he marked that location. Vaught is certain that the object had not been there prior. About a month later, Vaught and his crew went back to the spot. This time they took a video camera along. Again, they got caught on the same obstruction. When they got loose, they found a net hanging onto their net. It was a shrimp net. I say mystery solved. It then occurred to Vaught that the Liebling had gone down around there the previous summer. He wondered if the object they had encountered was the Liebling. He was certain that the object was a boat, based on the net found, and the fact that it was such a solid object in an area that was fairly clean. DJ Cole looked at the shrimp net and was certain that it was the spare net from the Liebling. He knew that because he had actually sold Red the net. Does the Liebling lie 700 feet below the ocean surface? The icy, turbulent waters of the North Pacific prevented a close examination of the ocean floor. Pamela holds on to the hope that her sons, Red and Mike, are somehow still alive. She notes that she will have the hope until she has some proof of what happened. The sea almost seems to be willfully hiding the real story behind what happened to the Liebling. Suspects. Yeah, I think we got our answer. I think we did. Next topic up. From Verpine. UFOs and Operation Mainbrace. Thank you, Verpine. Let's skip the AI this time and go directly to an article by Dr. David Clark. Oh, the fucking, excuse me, the freaking dragon's messing with me again. Stay up there. Where's the doctor? By Dr. David Clark. Operation Mainbrace. October 2002. This at drdavidclark.co.uk. And evidently written by Dr. Clark. October 2002 marked the 50th anniversary of what we believe to be the most impressive UFO incident ever reported to the Ministry of Defense. The sighting involved two highly experienced military pilots, whose visual report was backed up by two independent radar plots. Yet details of their amazing story have remained an official secret for half a century, until the key witnesses agreed to be interviewed during the research of our book, Out of the Shadows, and the BBC Radio 4 production, Britain's Secret X-Files, broadcast in April 2002. Since that time, further evidence has come to light, which underlines our contention that this case constitutes the best evidence that UFOs are real and a threat to our defense. For the first time, the full story of the Little Rissington incident can now be told. The Little Rissington Incident. There's the headline from the Yorkshire Evening Press, September 1952. Can we see that in a larger view? Is it good resolution? Is that the only one? There's two of them. Final words on the UFO experience. Saucers. 3 flying saucers sighted at height confirmed. Some kind of record of somebody. Let's see if we can read this. Not really. Topcliffe airmen sight a flying saucer at incredible speed. The Late City Evening Press. You gotta love these British rags. This one looks respectable, actually. How about if we open, no, we tried that. How about if we go to here, open image, a new tab. Same. A little bit better resolution, though. Saucer chased jet plane, say 6 airmen. Not smoke ring or weather balloon, says pilot. Serious investigation was being made last night by the RAF into the mystery of a silvery white object that chased a Meteor jet plane over Yorkshire during exercise Mainbrace. It was seen by 2 RAF officers, and I really can't read anything after that. Type's too small and obscure. Although the Topcliffe incident received wide publicity. Wait, I better start at the beginning. October 2002 marked the 50th anniversary. That's about Shiznit. Oh, that's an interesting one, Shazbot. Thank you. That's a shame that person unalived. That's a shame, though. May God rest her soul. Background. 1952 marked a turning point in terms of the British government's interest in the UFO enigma. In the previous year, the final report of the Flying Saucer Working Party had recommended that no further investigations of aerial phenomena should be undertaken by the Ministry of Defense until some material evidence became available. When in July of that year, UFOs were tracked by radar and pursued by interceptors above Washington, D.C., the United States Air Force was obliged to hold an unprecedented press conference. In an attempt to play down the furor, news of the Washington flap reached the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, who famously asked his Air Minister for a briefing on the subject of flying saucers. He was assured there was nothing to worry about. Quote, "Nothing has happened since 1951 to make the air staff change their opinion," end quote. UFOs were optical illusions, hoaxes, and misidentifications of known objects. It is unfortunate that Churchill did not, as far as we know, pursue his question later that same year. For an incredible series of events occurred during the autumn of '52, producing a radical change in the attitude of both the Ministry of Defense and the RAF towards unidentified flying objects. These were sightings made by airmen and naval personnel who took part in the NATO exercise Mainbrace, staged in September '52 to simulate a Soviet invasion of Western Europe. According to Captain Edward Ruppelt, or Edward Ruppelt, who led the U.S. Air Force's Project Blue Book. It was these sightings which caused the RAF to officially recognize UFOs. Indeed, the high level of interest which the Mainbrace sightings generated is reflected in a sensational memorandum prepared by the CIA's Assistant Director of Scientific Intelligence, Dr. Marshall Chadwell, in December of the same year. The memo remained secret for 50 years, until we obtained a copy in 2001, following an application and appeal under the American Freedom of Information Act. Chadwell, who had worked directly with the British Flying Saucer Working Party in the 50s, reported to the CIA director, how the Ministry of Defense had been forced to take a second look at UFOs as a direct result of the Mainbrace incidents. It had covertly reformed the British UFO Working Party and Chadwell noted that the UFO activity was quiet and normal until what he called the Yorkshire incident. Although the Topcliffe incident received wide publicity, the even more spectacular Little Rissington report was successfully kept secret. What on earth was going on? Flying saucers were the last thing on Flight Lieutenant Michael Swiney's mind when he climbed into the cockpit of a Meteor trainer jet on the afternoon of 21 October 52. Swiney was a staff instructor based at the RAF Central Flying School at Little Rissington, Gloucestershire, where his job was to provide tuition to Royal Air Force and Fleet Air Armed student instructors. Provide tuition. Tuition doesn't mean the same thing over here. Maybe they mean tutelage. Over here, tuition is something you pay. What is tuition here? Does tuition have more than one meaning? Where's the dictionary? Here. Tuition. Definitions, please. Charge or fee for instruction. That's what it is over here. Teaching or instruction as of pupils. So it does mean both things. Or the archaic meaning, guardianship or custody. That's archaic. But yeah, it can mean teaching or instruction as well. It can mean both things. Tuition. Seated behind him was his student for the day. I guess in the plane. Seated behind him in the plane. In the Meteor. A Royal Navy lieutenant. Or don't they say lieutenant? David Crofts. In Michael Swiney's flying logbook, Exercise 18 is described as a high-level cross-country flight that would take the two men on a southwesterly course towards a turning point on the south coast, then return to Little Rissington. Swiney, who was instructing, occupied the front seat, and his student was seated directly behind him in the small cockpit. As the aircraft taxied on the runway, there was nothing to suggest this exercise would be any different to other routine flights. Little did they realize it would become the most dramatic experience of their entire flying careers. In our interviews, Swiney described how, as the Meteor jet punched through a layer of cloud at around 15,000 feet, he suddenly got the fright of his life because there appeared to be smack in front of him, smack in front of the airplane, 3 white or nearly white circular objects. 2 of them were on a level keel. One of them was canted at a slight angle to one side. He thought, God Almighty, this is 3 chaps coming down on parachutes. And he took the stick out of David's hands so they didn't tear through the parachutes. He issued some sort of expletive. I don't know what it was. David did. And said, "What on earth is going on?" And Swiney replied, "David, have a look at this." Quote from Swiney, I guess. "It was something supernatural. I immediately thought, of course, saucers, because that's exactly what they looked like. They were not leaving a condensation trail, as I knew we were. They were circular and appeared stationary. We continued to climb twice that height, 30,000 feet, and as we did, they did in fact change position. It took on a slightly different perspective. For example, the higher we got, the more they lost their circular shape and took on more of appearance of a flat plate. Like when you hold a tea saucer above your head and look at it, then bring it down to your eye level. It loses the circular shape and becomes a flat plate. At one time, the objects, still very much in view, appeared to go from one side of us to the other. And to make sure it was not an illusion caused by us in our airplane, moving to one side, I checked that we were absolutely still on a very steady heading. And sure enough, they had moved across to the starboard side of the aircraft. As the meteor leveled out at 35,000 feet, the three strange objects remained clearly visible. They were saucer or plate-shaped, in colors slightly off-white, and emitting a fuzzy or iridescent light from their edges. There were no visible signs of propulsion, no portholes, no turrets, or other telltale signs that might have identified them as more conventional aircraft viewed at an unusual angle. According to the version recounted by Sir Peter Horsley, Instructor Swiney found it so difficult to take in what he was seeing that he thought he was suffering from oxygen failure. David Croft's account corroborates Horsley's memory. In 2002, he told us, quote, so this is the guy with Swiney, I guess. Eldergone is eating mayo and egg and seasoning is how you get egg salad, which is delicious. Seasoning salt in mayo. That's very interesting, says Shazbot. Ever mix mayo with sweet relish? And there's a good combo. And the quote from David Croft. I remember doing the 35,000-foot check. And Mick, who was in front seat, said, David, did you have anything to drink at lunchtime? And I said, no, why? And he said, is your oxygen on? And I replied, Mick, we've just done the 30,000-foot check, and you checked with me that the oxygen was all right. And I checked with you that my oxygen was all right. And then he said, well, look at that, straight ahead. Mick, who was in the front seat, put his head to one side, and I looked straight through the D window, and there were 3 dots ahead, initially. They would have been bigger than my thumbnail at arm's length, and there were certainly 3 of them. I looked up from time to time and saw they were approaching, and getting further and further apart. What I saw looked like the bottom of a stemmed glass. They were lens-shaped, like an ellipse, and the sun was behind them. And there was no cloud at that height. It was impossible to tell the size of them or how far away they were. I was thinking all the time that I've got to make this a good exercise, and I don't want to mess it up by looking around at extraneous things. But Mick kept talking about them and saying that he thought they were UFOs, so I thought, okay, then let's go after them. Thinking, well, now we can stop doing the exercise and we can officially say we're off the hook. But he didn't. He said, oh, Lord, no. Don't you remember something that happened on the west coast of America, where a couple of pilots went after one of these things, and they all got vaporized, and they've never been seen since? I then asked him what he intended to do, and with that he called air traffic control at Little Rissington and said what he could see, and within a very short time he said, I have control. He turned the aircraft, and we headed back to base. Where's all the maneuvering? We're to the left and the right and all that kind of stuff, though, from the other guy. He doesn't remember any of that stuff. Of course, this is almost 60 years later, 59 years later. No. 49 years later. Yes. Swiney recalled what happened at this stage. We got to the top of the climb, and I decided that really there was nothing much we could do. I was too shaken by what I had seen, and decided to call the exercise off and go back to base. I called up air traffic control at Rissington, and I said I had 3 unidentified objects fairly close, and gave them my course. I understand later there was a certain amount of pandemonium on the ground, because they weren't used to having their own staff instructors calling up, saying, we have 3 unidentified flying objects in front. What do we do? They didn't know what to do either. End quote. According to Horsley's account, air traffic control instructed Swiney to approach the UFOs. The pilot subsequently turned the aircraft towards them, opening up to full power. At Mach 8, it says here. 8 times, that can't be right, at Mach 8. It says Mach 8. Could the British meteor of 1952 do Mach 8? Nah, I gotta find out. Oh, we'll go here instead. Get out of that way, dragon. Get out of the way, please. Can an airplane called the Meteor travel at Mach 8? Can an not Mark 8, Mach 8. The Gloucester Meteor, the first British jet fighter. Okay, so it's called the Gloucester Meteor. How fast can that go? How fast can the Gloucester Meteor go? Answer with AI. Gloucester Meteor top speed. Oh. What Mach speed? What Mach speed? Reach. What Mach speed can the Gloucester Meteor reach? You have 0.8 Mach. That's where they got the 8. 0.8 Mach. Although it did win a world airspeed record. At a little bit faster. in 1946. 0.8. That's how I got confused, because they say Mach period 8. At Mach 0.8. They really should have separated those two words. They gained quite rapidly, but when the circular object filled half their windscreen, it suddenly turned on its side like a plate and climbed away out of sight at great speed. Swiney and Croft's memory is somewhat less dramatic. It says here, but it doesn't attribute the quote. It was quite extraordinary, as we kept them under observation, thinking what else could they possibly be, all of a sudden, having looked across at them at one moment, then looked back in another direction just to clear one's eyes a bit. We just looked back and they simply weren't there. They had disappeared. Altogether, the three flying saucers had been in view for around 10 minutes. He added. Again, no way to tell who that is. I'm guessing Swiney. I had then been flying for about 9 years. It must be Swiney. And I'd seen many funny refractions through windscreens, and lots of other things. But this was nothing of the sort. We tried very hard to explain away what we were looking at. But there was no way. No way. There was something there. There's absolutely no doubt about it. It was not a reflection. Tracked on radar, unknown to the two men on the ground, the control tower at Little Rissington had called HQ Fighter Command at Stenmore, near London. It was the height of the Cold War, and with fear of a Soviet attack looming, senior officers triggered an air defense alert. Simultaneous with the meteor pilot's visual report, a ground-controlled interception radar in southern England were tracking an unidentified aircraft moving across the southwest of England. The controller alerted the commander of RAF Southern Sector. The nerve center of the sector, known as RAF Box, was an underground bunker that contained a signals HQ and a fighter plotting control room. It says here all unidentified blips were treated as hostile until positively identified, and the sector command gave the order to scramble interceptors. A pair of meteors on 24-hour quick reaction alert screamed into the air and were vectored towards the unidentified radar target. According to Sir Peter Horsley, officers in the filter room were able to identify Swiney's meteor on the plotting table as it closed on the unidentified blips, which suddenly disappeared off the tube at speed estimated as 1,000 miles per hour. The two meteors from Tangmere followed the target, but failed to make contact. That's gotta be extraterrestrial, man. It's gotta be, man. That is an incredible story. We are getting, we should have another topic though, people. And that is going to be from, this was, I think this was for Peen. I think the next one is from Green Tea, I believe. Wait, Green Tea has done one. I'm going to save the Green Tea one. And I'm going to go to Shazbot. And here's Shazbot's topic. Ghostwatch. The British mockumentary that scared the crap out of people and caused one person to unalive themselves. Okay, let's find out. It's a British mockumentary supernatural horror television film. First broadcast on BBC One, Halloween night, 1992. Do the British celebrate Halloween? How do the British celebrate Halloween? How do the British celebrate Halloween? Answer with AI. While Halloween is not as deeply rooted in British culture, it has gained popularity in recent years, especially among younger generations. Here's a breakdown of how the British celebrate Halloween. Today, many Brits view Halloween as a commercialized American import. Some opt out of celebrating it altogether. However, others, especially those with small children or younger generations, have adopted American-style celebrations, including carving pumpkins, wearing costumes, trick-or-treating, although this is less widespread than in the U.S. I gotta go trick-or-treating. I should go trick-or-treating this Halloween. People still trick-or-treat. Hosting or attending Halloween-themed parties, haunted houses or events. So not much trick-or-treating. That's too bad. That's the best part of Halloween. Gotcha Man says, it took me all week just to find the Hellraiser bus stop. Any Ghostwatch articles? Here we go, Digital Fix, Ghostwatch, the horror mockumentary that traumatized a nation. Because the traumatization is the story. Here's how Ghostwatch, an elaborate social experiment from the BBC in 1992, convinced the entirety of Britain that ghosts truly did exist. Cool. So they pulled a War of the Worlds, did they? It was actually a social experiment from the BBC, huh? Ha ha ha. You're kidding me. This at thedigitalfix.com and written by Jacob Barnes of Ghostwatch. If you were to ask the great British public, name the scariest experience of their life, I would wager anyone old enough to have been subjected to Ghostwatch back in '92 would have put this unique horror movie pretty damn close to the top of their list. In what was ultimately an elaborate social experiment from the BBC, those tuning in to the beloved television channel on Halloween night at 9 p.m. were met with the welcoming face of Michael Parkinson. The chat show legend would play host to a genuinely shocking event in the history of British television, with Ghostwatch earning the reputation of being one of the most controversial ghost movies of all time. Many who witnessed Ghostwatch unfold in real time are still very traumatized to this day. The 90s movie was the first film or TV series to be cited in the British Medical Journal as having caused PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, in children. It even reportedly caused one man to unalive himself. As a result, Ghostwatch has been banned from broadcast for 30 years. But as Halloween night approaches once more, the film is set to be made readily available again. So let us investigate this most bizarre piece of British culture. The BBC staged live coverage as they attempted to provide irrefutable proof that ghosts exist. With Parkinson in the studio, alongside a team of call handlers, and the supernatural expert Dr. Lynn Pascoe, and Sarah Green guiding the narrative at a property dubbed the most haunted house in Britain. Viewers were led to believe they were watching paranormal activity sweeping the nation. It was a more naive time, of course. The 90s were naive. Maybe the 80s were naive. I'm thinking not the 90s. Before the internet exploded and gave us the opportunity to fact-check anything at a moment's notice, and allowed us to become desensitized to the horrors of the world. Ghostwatch tricked the population of Britain and left its mark on popular culture. The footage shown was all pre-recorded, methodically planned out to elicit fear across the country on the spookiest night of the year. Over at Fox Hill Avenue, the hoax was brought to life by a cast of actors, most notably the Early family, the supposed victims of increasingly disturbing supernatural activity. Ghostwatch was basically a movie based on the true story of the Enfield hauntings, the same paranormal incident that inspired the Conjuring franchise. So an American story. The production enlisted the help of various experts, who argued both for and against the legitimacy of the footage being shown. And special technology was introduced to bamboozle audiences into thinking they were witnessing the real thing. In the house, Mother Pamela Early and her two daughters, Suzanne and Kim, recount the terrifying presence that has been causing them so much distress. The boogeyman in question, known only as Pipes, is developed with sinister patience as the show goes on. From a child's drawing to brief reflections in glass doors, Pipes becomes a lingering specter about which we hear so much, but never fully see. While the Early family do their best to convince us that their ordeal is genuine, Parkinson remains cynical in the studio, doubting the family's stories, laughing at the far-fetched tales from the live calls coming through on the night. These calls, many of which were actually complaints, were all in on the act too, with callers told that the events they were seeing on screen were all part of a hoax, before going on the air and providing further evidence of supernatural activity in their own homes. I don't understand that phraseology, but that's one serious-looking Brit. Take a closer look. Yeah, how could you disbelieve a guy with that face? And look at that technology they have. Real to real. Outdated even in the early 90s. The introduction of Dr. Emilio Silvestri, an American paranormal skeptic, further condemns the notion of ghosts to that of the deranged in the world of make-believe. It's a clever technique employed by the filmmakers, tempting us all to deny the very thing they want us to fear, luring us into a false sense of security. This is all underlined by the revelation that the banging we hear in the house during the broadcast has been orchestrated by young Suzanne, who so desperately wanted everyone to believe her family's story and help them. With the hoax seemingly uncovered, the legitimacy of the experiment should be dead and buried. But Pipes was not finished with us yet. Just as Parkinson prepares to call it a day, the situation at Fox Hill Avenue escalates, as the bone-chilling voice of Pipes begins to make itself heard. Suzanne's face becomes inexplicably mutilated, and the frantic camera work in the house generates an unsettling atmosphere as doubt makes way for dread. That being the mutilated face, I guess. To today's eyes, not much to look at, but back then, I guess. The mutilated face. Looks like makeup to me. And not very well applied makeup. The nature of the calls coming into the team intensifies as well as grim stories of spirits smearing excrement on walls and spitting at people, and graphic descriptions of haunted playgrounds and unalive dogs cause Parkinson to announce that normal scheduling of your favorite 90s TV shows has been interrupted as they stick with the developing situation in the early household. The broadcast culminates in the revelation that a man fitting the description of the malevolent presence in the home once was subletting a room there years earlier. The man was convicted of being a P3DO, and after being released from the psychiatric ward, he unalived himself under the stairs at Fox Hill Avenue and was subsequently eaten by his felines. None of this was true, of course, but it's no wonder the entire nation was fooled and indeed scared utterly shitless by what was going on. Look how serious that guy is. Ghostwatch is a genuinely horrifying experience which stood the test of time against all odds. It was problematic and incredibly... We could see that over on Twitch someday. That'd be interesting to see on Twitch, right? I wonder if there's a place to download that. Ghostwatch is being released on a special limited edition Blu-ray for the first time. It will be available in the UK on October 31st, 2022. No kidding. Can you get it on eBay? I'm zooming on coffee. Oh, I drink so much coffee. I'm such a bad boy. Ghostwatch. Ghostwatch Blu-ray. $125. Holy shit. 92 limited edition region A. Ghostwatch sealed Blu-ray, $24. Yeah, it's way beyond my budget. What about Ghostwatch DVD? Ghostwatch double pack for $16, including Ghostwatch. Not too much on a DVD. Like very little. Just that double. A DVD import called Haunted, including Ghostwatch. It looks like the original guy is there, right? He looks different with smiling. That kind of looks like him. I thought his face was longer, though. And some other thing called the Stone Tape. One of the most controversial TV programs of a generation, this one says. This was cheaper. Cape Fear, a good movie. Well, Bigfoot says appropriately, Bill needs more Rumble subs. I'm in the lead by a wide margin over there. I'm not surprised, Bigfoot. You guys got to check me out on Rumble. Night Terrors with Bill is the channel name over there. Yeah, I guess that's the same guy. British television self-harm. PTSD in children. Thank you, World Bigfoot Central. Let me pin that. Looks like we got 11 minutes left here. Let's check out green teas at the end here. Looks like we are going to get to green tea's second suggestion. That being, where'd it go? Is it right? Oh, where'd it go? Oh, it's right here. Ooh, that's a good one. Best haunted places to visit on Halloween. America's scariest Halloween attractions. That I would like to see. From the view of Discovery UK. 43 most haunted places in the world, including an underwater graveyard. The scariest places to visit in every state. I want to see the Halloween attractions. From a British viewpoint. America's scariest. Six Flags Fright Fest, huh? View the gallery, yes, please. Where is it? It says here. Oh, here we go. Erebus, haunted attraction. One of the largest Halloween attractions in the world, Erebus is a 4-story haunted house in Michigan, in the city of Pontiac, that promises underworld giant monsters, bottomless pits, and crushing walls. Well, that looks excellent. Erebus. Erebus in Pontiac. Rebus in Pontiac. You think they named that city after the car? Entirely possible. Haunted house. Where's the Rebus? Rebus has haunted attraction. Is there a website? Wikipedia. I do not see the website. Erebus tickets. Erebus haunted attraction. They have to have their own website. I can't see anything over here though. The stupid Wikipedia or the stupid Brave webpage doesn't include it. More about Erebus. Okay, click on that. Theme Halloween. Where's the website? None given on this side of their thing. Let's go to the Wikipedia webpage then. Erebus haunted attraction. Coordinates. Official website. Finally. Oh yeah. No, don't sign me up, please. How do I get out of this? Just X out. An X here? No. Delete. Get out of this. How do I, oh, it's next here. There we go. X again, please. Thank you. Interested in joining the Erebus team? Want to work long hours for little pay? And have a hell of a time while you're doing it? Well, check out the guy hanging with his feet here. Welcome to Erebus Haunted Attraction, where we specialize in delivering an unforgettable, spine-chilling experience. Located in Pontiac, Michigan, we're proud to be one of the largest and most intense haunted houses in the country. With 4 floors of immersive terror, you'll encounter horrifying monsters, otherworldly environments, and live actors to pull you deeper into the nightmare. Taco has found it on Google Earth. Does it have David S. Pumpkins as Gotcha-Man? Our cutting-edge special effects and interactive scares make every single step unpredictable. Well, they have this in New York. Where's the New York one? The local one would be nice. Sneak in some cameras. Thank you, Dink and Mossy. So is this in every state or what? Relate to. Okay, let's go to the best haunted places to visit in New York. Halloween attraction, rather. Halloween attraction. Halloween. New York City, I'm not going to. Although it's only like 6 hours away from me. Not too far. Scary and not so scary Halloween attractions. Events and things to do in New York on Halloween. New York again. Again in the city. Again in the city. How about New York State? Find haunted houses. There we go. Top New York haunted houses. You're using an older version of Firefox. Block that, please. Can we get rid of this? Who cares? Where do we want to go? Oh, come on. Top New York haunted houses. Open a new tab. Block. Thank you. Fear Ticket, it's called. Oh, Jesus. I don't think the wife would want to see that one. Haunted houses in near Albany, it would be. State, New York. Oh, city. Of course, they don't have Albany, but they have Boston Spa, though. That's a little bit farther off, but okay, Boston Spa. What do you got? No Albany. Any Schenectady there? No Schenectady. There's a Troy mentioned, though. Troy is is a stone's throw. So let's first check Troy. It's closer. Troy, go. Zip. No, here we go. Immersive psychological thriller. Down the hall. Down the hall. 5 Division Street. Oh, Jesus. Scare factor. Suitable for all guests and families. Halloween fun. I wonder if my wife would be scared. My wife gets scared easy. She won't even watch a violent movie. Even if we read the book. I just read a book to her, a violent book, and she won't watch the movie. It was Dog Soldiers. The basis for the movie Who'll Stop the Rain. Didn't we see that already on the movie night? If we don't, we should. If we didn't, we should. But I think we saw it. Welcome, Jonathan A. Jonathan A has been away for a while. Former handle was Dwight Schrute, of course. Welcome, Jonathan. Welcome back. Don't forget to join us for this coming Wednesday. On Twitch only, there's going to be a movie. A double feature, actually. Fury and the Execution. Fury is an old, you might say, suspense thriller about a man that's falsely accused of unaliving someone. Yeah, it's coming up on Twitch on Wednesday. And The Execution was a TV movie, but I do have an advertisement for it, which I'd like to show you now, and hopefully it works. We shall see. No way to tell. Let me try the button, though. Here's the trailer for the second feature, I hope.
An NBC World Movie Premiere. Loretta Swift, Valerie Harper, Barbara Berry, Jessica Walter, Sandy Dennis, and Rick Vaughn star in The Execution Monday.
So, was that a proper trailer? Did you guys see a trailer? Anyway, don't forget to miss movie night. Guest host Gotcha Man. I will be there in spirit and in chat physically. There was an echo, says World Bigfoot Central. That was an echo that just repeated? A bit of echo? So until Wednesday, guys, and be there or be square. May God bless and protect you all.